One day, I woke up and watched some YouTube videos. But then, when watching a video by Jonas Tyroller where he made 50 games in a day, he said this towards the end of that video.
But before I show you the last game, I want to call you all out. Can you make 50 games in one day? If you make a video like this, I will link it in the end card of this video. I doubt any of you will be brave enough, but the offer stands.
That's right, he said I couldn't make 50 games in a day. So I proved him wrong. Of course, it was getting late, so I made some scripts and some materials to use for the challenge. And then, I went to sleep.
The next day.
Alright, it's time to start the 50 games in a day challenge! The first game I made was a game where you avoid falling blocks. The second game I made was a variant of the first game, where you collect falling blocks instead of avoiding them. Game 3 was the same as Game 1, except you shoot bullets to kill the falling obstacles. Then, I decided to make a variant of Game 3 where you move in all directions. Games 5 and 6 are versions of Games 1 and 2 respectively, but you can move in all directions. Then, I made a Flappy Bird clone, and that is Game 7. Game 8 is the same as the previous game, but you can move in all directions instead of, well, flapping. Game 9 is another Flappy Bird clone, except you hold space to add force to the bird instead of flapping it. I really think this idea is good and definitely not a clone of an already existing game. Game 10 is Flappy Bird, but you control the pipes instead of the player, and you have to make sure not to hit the pyramid spear. Game 11 is a game where you have to balance balls that fall onto the platform. That's it. Game 12 is a harder version of Game 11, as there are more platforms. Game 13 is just getting the ball to different platforms, and it's impossible to beat. Trust me. Game 14 is just a first-person version of Flappy Bird. Game 15 is a first-person version of Game 1, for those who don't remember, the dodging game. Game 16 is a painting game that will definitely not destroy anyone's PC. This is one of my favorite games out of the bunch, because I can draw stuff like this Will You Stale fan art. Wishlist Will You Stale. Game 17 is a game where you have to paint a path, so this ball doesn't fall to its doom. Game 18 is a clicker game. That's it. Don't even think about playing it. Game 19 is a remake of a mobile game called AA. Game 20 is a first-person version of the previous game. For Game 21, I made this game where you move a spear. That's it. Game 22 is the same as the previous game, but there are 2 balls, and a split screen. And, Game 23 is a game where you have to push this ball off the platform, though it is really glitchy. Game 24 is the first-person version of the previous game. Wait, how many first-person versions of games have I made? Oh, that many? Game 25 is an original game that I definitely did not steal whatsoever. Game 26 was originally supposed to be a pinball game, but since I did not know how to make pinball games, it turned into a falling down simulator game. Game 27 is Falling Down Simulator 2, Obstacles. And Game 28 ends the Falling Down Simulator trilogy with Falling Down Simulator 3, the moving platforms. Game 29 is a game of luck, where you have to guess where the ball lands. It's not that fun. Game 30 is a game where you must flap to avoid the cubes. Game 31 is a first-person version of Game 2. Game 32 is a first-person version of Game 3. Now, after I finished Game 32, I had to go on an errand. Yeah.
3 hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time cards.
I am back, and it is getting late. So, time to work on some more games. Game 33 is a game where you roll a ball. Game 34 is a game where you use the mouse to control this cube. Also, you have to avoid the balls. Game 35 is a variant of the previous game, but you have Flappy Bird controls. Because I love reusing ideas. Game 36 is another version of Game 34, but you have to float to avoid the pong balls. Game 37 is yet another version of Game 34, but you can move in all directions. Game 38 is a game where you have to wait for these cubes to be close to each other, and then you press the spacebar, and if they hit each other, you win. Game 39 is a luck game where you have to wait for a ball to hit the green cube. Game 40 is a version of Breakout where you have to make sure the ball does not hit the red button. And now, it's time for the final 10 games. Game 41 is a game where you have to hit targets with a cylinder. Game 42 is a game where you can spawn an endless amount of balls, because balls make a game better. Game 43 is a game where you can explore the land of wooden planks. I really like this game because exploration. Game 34 is a version of the previous game, but there is a split screen. Game 45 is a game where you have to flap these spears in order to avoid those cubes. Game 46 is a variant of the previous game, but the balls rotate. Game 47 is a game I definitely did not steal from someone where you have to fly through rings in the sky. Game 48 is just the second game I made, but from a different perspective. Game 49 is like the previous game, but it's the first game I made for this challenge, but it's from a different perspective as well. And finally, Game 50. But before I show it to you, I must ask you to subscribe to this channel and ring that bell to be notified for when I release another cool video like this. Because look at these scats! They don't look good. And now, finally, Game 50. The game we've all been waiting for. A random surprise I will let Cena play!
Press spacebar for a surprise. Okay, what's the Oh, it's a Rickroll.
That's right, Game 50 is a Rickroll, because I am out of good ideas. Now, I had a lot of fun making 50 games in a day. I learned stuff and did things I would have never done otherwise. Also, I proved Jonas Tyroller wrong, so there's that. And that is it for this video. If you like this video, then like, subscribe, jive. Well, thanks for watching. Bye!